MICO, welcome to the Juicebox Sessions.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And thank you for taking a break from tour to chat. Do you have any favorite memories so far from this tour?
Um, my favorite is probably the Orlando show that we just did. Just because that one is gonna be the biggest of the U.S. shows so far, and so far for just in general myself, and also because really special. I got to have one of my friends Jay come out for that show, and I mean, Jay is just such a sweetheart. Jay featured on the last song that I did, and on top of that, Jay also featured on my opener Vault Boys song a couple years back too. So we ended up moving that song from his set into my set. We got to do a full band. I got to be a part of it.
That's
So it was just
awesome.
a really special moment.
Very cool. That's awesome. And before you were playing these global stages, you were releasing music on Twitch and Discord. What was the thought process for 16-year-old Miko in releasing songs there, and what was it like to build an audience there?
Um, the mindset was mainly coming from a place of like, I saw a bunch of like YouTube compilation videos of like people singing and doing acoustic things on like uh back in the day, and like seeing it in the live stream space. And also there was this growing thing of like a bunch of YouTubers going live on Twitch and doing Discord's Got Talent things, and then like later chopping it up into YouTube videos. And I was like, oh, that could be a cool thing to kind of be a part of. And as I ended up in the Discord space a little bit more, because I had already had an account, because it was like big for gamers. I would use it to play Fortnite Save the World with people and find
Oh,
groups.
yep,
Uh,
sure.
but I I ended up falling in love with the whole aspect of how community oriented it is, and so uh, I ended up joining a lot of other communities, as well as doing the whole performing on people's channels and such. And so like I ended up making my own community on there. And if you look at the data, the server is actually older than any of the music that I have ever put out by like a couple months. The server originally was like a hotspot of like musicians and creatives like kind of finding their own place to just find each other and collaborate and support each other. And uh, so I think it just like came down to building a community that was already like larger than myself and more about finding the people around. Uh, which I mean, I personally, to me, feels a lot cooler than just putting music out normally.
Oh, absolutely. And do you remember that first show that you played live and being able to like finally connect with those people that you were like connecting with only online at the time?
Oh, absolutely. I remember this was like end of 2022. This was right before Cut My Hair had come out. Actually, I booked the show um, around the time that like the first snippet of Cut My Hair was going viral on TikTok, and I had booked it, and then was like, what if I just put the song out the next day and played it that day? I think that would be a little bit fun. This was like back when people were really worried about whether or not uh, people from online could even sell tickets. So like tours
Hmm.
were getting canceled left, right, and center, and I was like really worried. I was really worried we weren't going to be able to sell. I'd been putting it off for a while, and so we had put the tickets up. I was like just getting back home from going to TwitchCon with a bunch of my friends, and the show ended up selling out in like less than a week.
Wow. So you
Yeah.
had There was nothing to sweat about.
Yeah, there was nothing to end up sweating about. And then we did the show. I ended up uh cut my hair out early, like about like 12 hours on YouTube and SoundCloud just so people could learn the lyrics. And the fact that so many people had that were in that crowd had learned all of the lyrics in the span of 12 hours. It's actually really funny. I never ended up posting it, but somebody had sent me a video of like someone pulling up the lyrics of the song on Genius on their
Oh,
phone
really?
and
Just so you
screaming
could
them
sing
out in
along
the
with you.
crowd.
That's dedication.
That is dedication. I love seeing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you talked a little bit about like the collaborations that you've done, and this new song, Parasite, is a collaboration with Haiden Henderson. What was the inspiration behind that song?
All right. So I had written it pretty mindlessly, honestly, back in like May of last year. Um, it was with my main producer Mickey, and then DCF and Matt, good friends of mine. Matt's my drummer as well. Uh, yeah, that was on the trip where we were finishing up the Internet Hometown Hero EP, and this single and a couple of the other singles that I want to put out right now are just like a collection of songs that didn't really feel like they fit on my last EP, just because like I'm a very project oriented person, but uh, they're still like great. I like them like I like these songs, some of them more than a bunch of the songs that ended up on Internet Hometown Hero. Um, but yeah, when we had first written Parasite, I was like, this is a vibe shift. This is a big vibe shift. I love this song. I don't know if it could be mine.
Yeah.
And so like I think after about like a year of sitting on it, I was like I had just like posted to my close friends story just like I am in desperate need of some help on this. And Hayden was like within like the first three people that had swiped up on the story. And for context, Hayden is actually like one of the first people that I had met in music through the internet and in general in that space. Um, we met like back in like the summer of 2022 on like my first LA trip, and so we'd known each other for a while. I had always been a fan of his stuff, and so I had asked him to open for my tour that happened in the fall of last year, and we had gotten really close. Like, I mean, tours like that are as close as you could possibly be to somebody
Hmm.
in like sprinter van conditions. Sometimes like ending up in the same hotel room. Like, uh, we're always the only people that are in the green room when my band is doing load in. Like, so we had a lot of time to talk and catch up, and um, I don't know. I mean, he had recently gone through something that like we bonded a lot over because I'd gone through something similar, and when we were writing his parts for the song after I was like, yeah, of course you can. Um, when we were writing his parts, I realized that there was a lot clearer of a story than I had originally thought. Like I was writing very mindlessly and just like, this is fun. But yeah, everything became a lot clearer when Hayden came into the picture, and I ended up rewriting a lot of my parts and like some of the lines of the chorus. And I mean, that's that's pretty much it. It feels like it. The great thing about the writing sessions that happen is like it just feels like friends in a room chopping it up.
I feel like the best songs come out of that because I mean you're just kind of riffing off each other's. The uncomfortable part of trying to bond with like a new writer producer is completely taken out of the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. It like this was my first time writing with Hayden too, so I was a little like, are we gonna like butt heads? I don't know. I don't know how artist to artist like uh right. Like the only other time that I'd done it was uh with Jay, and Jay was like, so like, I'm gonna sit in the back seat and everybody do your thing and I'll chime in when something comes up. I wasn't I'm still very new to collaborating with other artists specifically. Uh but yeah, I mean like there's also just like such a sense of familiarity that happens when like we are both inherently fans of each other. So when we're like helping each other write for each other, we also already know what each other's music sounds like and the types of things that we like to do. And so like he's telling his story and I'm like casually trying to sneak like really direct one-liners in. Uh there's a lyric in there like you made it look so easy, let a good thing die. Which is like a call out to like a different song in a playlist or something. Uh, like he had told me like a couple months prior that like he has like a bank of words that he wanted to use, and he mentioned that one of them was subliminally, and so we snuck it into like the first line of his verse, like, uh, and then he kind of like egged me on to make my first verse a lot more personal and a lot more uh, like word vomity and consonancy like I usually do. Uh, and yeah, I don't know. We both ended up pushing each other to be literally like the best versions of our artist selves that we could be, which is awesome.
That is awesome. And speaking of like the wordplay and the one-liners, the I gotta give a shout out to like the lyrics too, because I had to write this down. The "we're dancing on the edge of a knife. I'd let you twist it in to say that you're mine." It's so good. I love that one.
Oh,
How did that line come about? Because that's just like, oh, it works so well. Yeah, I love it.
I had, if I remember correctly, that might be the first line that I wrote for the song. And then I
Really?
was like, this is because like it was it was so different already when it was being produced in the room. I was just like, I'm just gonna throw vibe lines out there. I'm just gonna see what sticks and hits the wall. And that one, like I don't know, that one really like did something for me on top of like the melody. I was trying to figure something out because I was like, I really need this to just like flow. Uh, and so that line, it actually was a battle for a while because like when we ended up finding the rest of the chorus, or at least what became the rest of the chorus, it was really hard to actually fit it in and not make it seem like it was coming out of nowhere or corny, but it ended up
It
perfectly
works
fine in the
so well. And also too, the production of the like melody in the background, the strings and everything, how did that come about? And how did you like yeah, how did you develop that melody in the background instrumentation?
like the strings.
Yes, especially that,
Oh
but
yeah.
like overall, I mean the strings really stand out. I think it kind of fits into the vibe of the song really well.
I think I think the first thing that we had tackled uh in the song was like the drum pattern. Like Mickey was just going crazy on his laptop, and uh from there like the three of us that were just in the room already, uh we all had our own guitars, so we just ended up like jamming on top of those like super staccato chords. I think was it Matt that came up with the lick, and then I remember Mickey saying, "This feels like toxic. This really feels like toxic. I really want to put strings
Yes.
in here." And so like, uh, we ended up finding a couple samples locked away in his laptop and just like uh, pitch shifting them and like time ramping them so that they like all faded away like pretty quickly. And then later on in the process, we had gotten one of my friends from back home, Toronto, strings from Paris, uh, to do like uh, a couple runs of like arrangements for the song, and he had sent us like three recordings through the entire thing, and we just like chopped all of them up so that we had like little sparkle moments through like Hayden's verse and through the rest of the choruses. just to beef it up a lot more. Yeah.
It's so funny that you say toxic too, because it does like that. I was like, there's something that like feels nostalgic about this song, and then I'm like, now you say that, I'm like, yeah, but it like has a totally different, like it has its own vibe too.
Yeah, I really wanted to make a song like that for a long time. So it scratches a certain itch in my brain, and I'm really happy that like uh it it still feels like as playful as Toxic does, but we got to lean into like the little bit sinister, like feeling a
Mm,
little bit more. Uh, I don't know. It just like inherently feels a little bit darker,
yes,
which I'm a fan of.
which I feel like fits the name too of Parasite.
Oh,
So
for sure.
yeah, definitely. And the other thing too is a lot of your music, I know this kind of like deviates slightly from the like pop punk influence that you like to lean into. What are some of the artists that have shaped your music taste?
My music taste, I mean like if you like had anything that like the subgenre either started or ended with the words pop or rock, I like, and they were in like that like 2010 space, I probably listened to them. Like, I mean, I was a big fan of like 5 Seconds of Summer, One Direction, All Time Low, Fall Out Boy, like Water Parks, uh, I mean, Neck Deep, like those bands like really shaped me. I mean, like I grew up pretty much only listening to whatever my dad was putting on, so like there's inherently just like trying to be as hooky as those like classic uh 80s groups like your Polices, your Whams, like, but uh yeah, I think like the second I picked up a guitar, I just immediately fell in love with the pop rock side of things, especially the 2010s. The 2010s are such an underrated period of time for it, because that was when like it started to blend a little bit into radio, but people really didn't want to give up their guitars, and it was like kind of problematic because radio was like going trying to go in like such a synthy electronic direction, and so they kind of had to work around it. And for a lot of people that was like, oh, rock is falling apart, but for me it was like this is a really cool and fresh way to do it. I think like sonically that's where I land, and then like lyrically I'm just in love with a lot of like the like indie pop space. Like I had grown up listening to a bunch of stuff on SoundCloud, so you're like Jeremy Zuckers, your Chelsea Cutlers, like I I love your Alexander 23s. I love that style of lyricism a lot. Just like so blunt and put forward, and like there's no possible way you can misinterpret this. We're just putting it straight out as much as we can. Uh, yeah.
And I also have to give a shout out to Ever After. That has been on loop for me. Then that also has incredible lyrics in it, which is not surprising because it's coming from you. But the like I love the line. I wrote this one down too. Is so I've made up my mind. I'm closing the chapter because you say it's real, but I feel like an actor. Again, amazing.
Both of these songs were just like such vibes to write.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
they're awesome.
these two writing sessions in particular were just like I these two sessions were the days where I was like, I've been way too in my head this trip. I just need something to vibe out on. And ever after, Mickey just kind of picked up a guitar literally like 20 minutes into the five of us being in that room, and just like started playing that chord progression. And all of us just like kind of turned to him and we're like, record that, work on that. And so like he's like building out the production. Meanwhile, the other four of us like are in the back end and like trying to figure out melodies. And I just kind of spit out those first four lines, like the so I made up my mind, like that, the first four lines of the chorus out, just like kind of just like tossing it, totally expecting it to airball, and everybody's like, no, wait, that's sick. And so like we that song came together so quickly, like in the span of about, I want to say like less than an hour, the entire song
Wow.
was like fully lyrically written.
That's awesome. And I
Like
love that that
everything just
was,
kept rolling.
and I love that that was just the line they were like, we'll try this. And it's like, it's such a good line. That's like the, yeah, I love it. And I know that you mentioned that like Ever After and Parasite are kind of songs that didn't fit into the world of your EP. Can we expect any more bonus tracks? Are there any that it will be sprinkling out, or like what can fans look forward to next?
There there may be there might be another one. I'm not exactly sure yet. I still need to record, and I am on tour, but hopefully that one works out.
Yeah, we hope so too.
No, I'm not promising anything, but
Okay.
uh hopefully. And I mean, most of my energy has just been put towards this tour that's still going on, and I mean, working on whatever project can come next. I love world building a little too much.
Well, we appreciate that you do. And these fans, so these are listeners and new fans that are now listening in. What, where can they find you? How can they stay up to date with if we end up with another bonus track or whatever you're up to next?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much any social media you can think of. If it's new, I probably found it a week ago. Um, you could probably find me at the handles either just MICO or MICO Toronto, uh, or just look for a flyer for a show in your town because 53 dates is a lot of dates, and I might be there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Miko, and everybody go stream Parasite.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Of course.